Hi, hello, my name is Bethany. Welcome to my channel where I talk about my knits and any other bits that I feel like. I'm coming to you from Northern Ontario, Canada, where it is very warm. So I am not wearing anything hand knit at the moment, but we're going to talk about some summer hand knits in this project update video because I have made quite a lot of progress since I last recorded, which has been about 3-4 weeks. So you know what? Let's get right into it. Let's start with finished objects. I have quite a few from the last time I recorded. So let's just go to this pile over here that you might be able to see in the frame. Let's start with a finished sock whip. These were a whip the last time I recorded, I believe. I was nearly done because sock 1 was done and sock 2 was well on its way. These are definitely sisters, not twins, and I kind of love it because they're close enough. You can sort of see. And this self-striping yarn is, I believe, I'll link it down below if I get the name wrong, but I believe it's Comfy Cozy Knits self-striping merino. And then so the cuff and heel is just done in some leftover stash yarn that I thought went well with the stripes. And if you've been here for a minute, you know that I love a shorty sock, and there was truly just enough to do a pair of shorties using contrast colors for the cuff and heel. So yeah, I'm really pleased with these. Of course, they're done just in time for it to be too hot to wear hand knit socks anyway. That's fine. That's okay. So like, you know, didn't get to wear them for Pride because it was really hot. But you know, they're still very rainbowy and very stripy. So hopefully, you know, when the weather starts to cool in the fall, I'll be able to pop these on my feet when it's chilly enough to wear hand knit socks again. Next is a long-term whip, which is my head sock hat. Not going to put it on. The hair's looking pretty good, so I'm not going to put it on. Also, it's hot. I'm not going to put it on. But I do love the length on this because you can, like, I can fold it up and it can have a really good brim on it if I wish. The headsock pattern is definitely a go-to for me if I want to knit a fingering weight hat because there's just something about 2x2 rib. It's very nice. It's very nice. And I do really like how the yarn knit up pulls a little bit, but it actually looks pretty cool and kind of stripy. This was some thrifted yarn that I'm not really sure. I think it might be a Loops and Threads sock yarn, like from Michaels or what have you. But it was broken apart into multiple smaller balls. So you can sort of see maybe where, you know, where I had to switch from one little ball to another. But I still think it looks pretty cool, and I'm very happy to have that done. Not sure whether I'm going to keep it yet, but it is my favorite color. So we'll see when the cooler weather rolls around. On to a summer hand knit that I am very pleased. I probably could have worn this today, but I'm just going to show you. It's my Hollyberry tee that was a whip the last time I recorded, and I finished this just in time to wear it to a special event, and I got so many compliments on it. It was wonderful. I just wore it over, I had like black pants and a black tank top, and I just popped this over top to sort of have something on my shoulders, also something that was more brightly colored for the event, and I got so many compliments on it, and I think it turned out great. I'm very pleased with how I was able to match up the front and the back in terms of like the color gradient. It's pretty perfect, and I'm very pleased with it. This has been fun to just pop on top of, you know, sleeveless dresses like this one, or tank tops that maybe only have a spaghetti strap or something like that. I'm very pleased. This was a completely impulsive cast on, as I talked about in my last project update video, but it's been great, and I have been wearing it, so I'm really pleased with how that turned out. Would knit again, I think, and it might be fun to do it in a solid color, and then it would sort of have the vibes of something like James N. Watts' Look at My Holes or something like that. It would sort of have that vibe to it, but a completely different shape and a different lace pattern, because I think Look at My Holes is all mesh, whereas this is definitely like a particular kind of lace pattern. I'll link that below. As I mentioned in my last project update video, that tee I knit out of Joan Ho's new book that I found at my library. So highly recommend. Do have a look at her. I believe her patterns are also available as an ebook, or maybe even individually. The patterns are maybe available individually on Ravelry, but check that out. If that's the case, I'll link it below. I think that's actually it for... Nope, I have one more finished object, and it's not here because it's at my workplace, but I'll pop a picture up. And this is something that I've been thinking about making for a while, and then I was just like, you know what, I just got to make it happen. So I knit myself a little phone pouch to be able to wear, a little crossbody phone pouch, because I often have to keep my phone on me, but that can be difficult at work when your outfit has no pockets. Tell me about it, right? Because either you got a really nice pair of pants or a lovely dress or a lovely skirt, and the only downside of it is that there are no pockets, or the pocket isn't big enough to keep your phone in safely. So I thought, you know what, I'll knit myself a little phone pouch. So I did that. The pattern I used was the Gallivanter pouch, but I heavily modified it. I didn't do the seed stitch that is in that particular pattern. I substituted for linen stitch because I wanted something that wouldn't stretch when you put the phone in it, because phones are kind of heavy, right? Like as soon as you put them in a pocket, you're just like, oh, yep, phone's heavier than I thought. So I did that, and then I just did an I-cord strap, which seems to be working pretty well. I've only used the phone pouch once at work, and it was okay. But time will tell if it was a good call. And if it was, I might just make another one. I used some thrifted Patton's cotton DK, which I believe is discontinued, but I would recommend any DK cotton yarn, because it worked out really well. It had the sort of stability that you would want, rather than wool, because I think wool would just stretch out like way too much with the weight of the phone. So I really like how that's working so far. Okay, that is actually it for finished objects. So let's move on to works in progress. My first biggest one is something that I've been debating what to do with this gifted yarn. And by gifted, I mean someone I know who doesn't knit as much as she used to. Constantly gives me bags of yarn when she's going through her stash and deciding whether she's going to keep things or not. And I believe that's where this came from. Either that or it was a thrifted yarn. And so it's this lovely green yarn that I forget the name of, and I will link below. I think once again, it's in a position where that particular yarn might be discontinued. But I wanted to do something... I wanted to make a garment out of this yarn because there was a fair amount of it, so I wanted to do that. So I finally landed on the Cicady cardigan, I guess, by Alicia Plummer. And huge caveat right here, her pattern is written for Aran weight cotton yarn. This is technically somewhere between a DK and a sport. So... right there, huge disclaimer about the size of needles that I'm using and the size that I'm knitting and the result I'm getting because of my gauge. So as you can sort of see, for one thing, I'm really far along. Just this morning, last night and this morning I was working on sleeve 2. Very exciting. Sleeve 1 was done a few nights ago. Listening to my audiobook, and the body is pretty much done, although I am considering lengthening it. Oh my gosh, lengthening it, because in her pattern, it sort of sits at a high hip, and which is what I'm getting for the size that I'm making, which I believe technically I should be knitting size 3, but as I was knitting it, I ended up doing a combination between size 2 and size 3 accidentally, and then I just went with it. Because once I realized that I had been switching between the instructions for size 2 and size 3, I was far enough through the body, well, the back and the 2 fronts, that I was like, I can't rip it back. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I am getting a high hip length when I try it on. But I kind of think I would also like it to be longer, but I'm going to see how it turns out when I've finished sleeve 2, and I'm going to block it again and then try it on again, because I do have 2 balls of this yarn left, and I do still have the neckband left to do, which would be literally the last thing to do. But I don't want to do the neckband until I've decided how long the body is actually going to be. I feel like now that I've sewn it together, I could really quite easily pick up along the hem, I guess you would call it, of this right now, and continue lengthening it with relative ease. I say that. It might be harder than it looks, but but I'm really pleased with how it's turning out. I'm really looking forward to having this done, because I do feel like, because it's 100% cotton, it will be a really good like throw on when you just need sleeves. I feel like I need to do an entire video about like the garments I wear when I just need sleeves, because I'm that person who like feels the wind on my arms and then I'm like, oh, I'm cold, right? It's strange. I know for other people it's like their legs or whatever, or the back of their neck, and I'm definitely like arms and back of the neck. It's like if that's getting cold, the rest of me gets cold. So I'm really pleased with how that's going along, and hopefully by the time I do another project update video, it will be done and I will be wearing it I hope I get to wear it a lot this summer. I'm hoping that it's going to be a really good layering piece on top of summer outfits. Okay, let's move on. Another thoroughly impulsive cast on, because I had finished, the Hollyberry tee and my pair of socks and my head sock. I kind of had no car knitting, and 2 weeks ago, my husband and I drove to London, Ontario for a wedding for some dear friends, and I was like, it is a 6-hour drive. Am I really going to sit here and not knit? Heck no. Heck no. So I cast on the Victory Garden kerchief, and I forget the name of the designer. I apologize. I will link it below. But it is a free pattern, which is very nice. So I am just using, and it's a triangle shaped striped shawlette, I guess. There are 2 sizes that you can knit in the pattern. One is shawlette size and the other one is like headscarf sized. I'm probably going to end up doing the shawlette because I've chosen 2 like leftover colors to put together, and I'll just show them right now. Can I do that? There we go. So this is leftover from a sweater that I knit back in last fall, 2024. I knit a pair of socks out of this lovely Full Moon Fibers favorite granny square blanket colorway, which I love. I would love to get more of this. Maybe even in a DK if it were available, because imagine the cute little autumnal sweater you could have with that. That would be so cute. Anyway, so this color combination is actually quite autumnal. But I kind of like it. I didn't want to wind yarn to start this project. I'm like, no, I have leftovers. Let's see what color combinations I can come up with. And so far, I really like what's going on. It's cute. So this is about as much as I got done while we were traveling 2 weeks ago, which is pretty good. And also it makes very good TV knitting. The only thing is I have to remember to switch colors every 2 rows. I did have a bit of a thing where I kept going with one color a little too long, and I was like, oh no, that's not right. I had done 4 rows instead of 2. So Yeah, so I had to rip back a little bit, but that was fine. Oh, okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit. This is my last work in progress before we talk about something special in between, and then we'll talk about what's next. So yeah, we're going to switch gears a little bit because I have started doing punch needle for funsies. This was something I sort of toyed with last year, and I did try it out, and it didn't go well. And I don't want to blame the tools, but all I had was sort of your regular embroidery hoop, and I had ordered the Ada cloth, but the embroidery hoop really could not hold the tension that I needed to actually do the punch needle. So I bought this plastic snap together square frame from Michael's, and it's been going way, way better. I do sometimes have to stop and adjust and sort of pull everything tight again. But as you can see, so that this is technically the wrong side and this is the right side. So it's going pretty well. The yarn that I'm using, and you see it's not attached to anything, and that's because I decided to stop because what I'm going to do in this square is do some stripes. And the yarn that I'm using is some thrifted yarn that my mom found for me, the name of which I can't remember, but I do recall that the content is wool and bamboo, which is very interesting because it has an almost, not quite mohair halo, but it's got quite a halo on it, and I'm not sure if that is the bamboo / viscose or if that is the merino. But I just knew that when my mom, hi mom if you're watching, I knew when my mom gave it to me, she was like, I saw it and I thought of you. It's okay if you don't want to use it. And I'm like, well, I do want to use it. I'm just not going to use it for a garment, even though there's enough here that I could knit a decent sized garment. So I kept thinking like, what can I use it for? And it turns out it does pretty well for punch needle. Very first punch needle project. And I'm also just winging it. Like, again, I'm just doing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, in stripes. And then we will see what it ends up being. If it turns out well, I hope that it will be the front of a cushion cover, because I sort of have a goal of sort of recovering a lot of the cushions on our couch, just because some of them are looking a little bit sad, a little bit old. So, you know, sort of DIY sprucing up the pillows on the couch. And if it doesn't turn out very square or well enough, I'll stick it on something to be able to hang it up for a time and be like, ooh, you know, fiber wall art, you know. So we'll see how that goes. And if it doesn't turn out great, that's fine. It's practice. I have also purchased a smaller punch needle to be able to use like fingering weight scraps, which I think will be very interesting. And that'll probably be my next punch needle project. And just watch, I'm just gonna start punch needling everything. My husband's just gonna be like, what are you doing? But he'll thank me later. Okay, that is it for works in progress. So now we're going to talk about something special. So as I mentioned, 2 weeks ago, we traveled to London, Ontario for a wedding, and part of being there for the weekend was my one request was to drive from London to St. Thomas to visit the Little Red Mitten. I'll pop some pictures up because my husband was very good and took pictures of me outside the Little Red Mitten when we were there, because I had never been. I used to live in London when I was going through school, and I had never managed to get there. I was also not that's part of where my really big knitting journey began, was when I went to London to do my master's, and I needed a hobby that was not reading, because I was doing so much reading, but I had never made it to the Little Red Mitten. So all that to say is we made a special trip out. It rained, it was fine, but it was a lovely visit, and I got some cool stuff. So I want to show you the treasures that I found. And I also bought a mystery bag. So we're gonna like unbox it live. I mean, I'm not live, but like we're gonna unbox it in real time in this video because I have waited 2 weeks to unbox this mystery bag because I thought it would be fun for the channel. But first, I'll show you some of the other stuff that I found while I was at Little Red Mitten. First is this lovely sock yarn by a brand that I had never heard of before, but I loved the colorways that were there of hers. And this is from A Wanderer and Her Wool. And it was like, oh, like that's amazing. Like, look at that tag. Like, beautiful, right? And this particular color is called Terracotta Tiles. And as you can see, it's sort of a combo of pink and terracotta, brownie pink. And I just loved it. Like, it's maybe not the best for my face, but that's okay. My plan is socks more than anything else. But we'll see what it turns into. But I just fell in love with that color, so I grabbed it. And like I said, it was a dyer I had never heard of before, and that was sort of the goal. Like, when I was purchasing, I wanted to get things that I had never heard of before. When I was cashing out, I also just loved this pin from Leo and Roxy. It says "Pain in the Stash," and I'm like, yeah, that's going on the knitting notions pouch. Absolutely. What else do I have in here? Oh, yes, I also bought, because it's so hot and I need to have something else to switch to, that's not punch needle or knitting when it's really hot. I bought this set of stick and stitch embroidery designs, I guess, and they looked really cool. And I'm on a mission to, because I collect patches, but I don't yet have a denim jacket to put them on. That's not true. I have a denim jacket. I refuse to put the patches on that denim jacket because I love the way that denim jacket looks, just au naturel, right? The blue is perfect. I don't want to cover it up. And my husband and I were like laughing. Like, I can laugh at myself. Like, I'm a person who is tattooed. That's fairly easy for me to commit to. I cannot commit to putting stickers anywhere, nor can I commit to sewing patches on anything. The irony is real. But I'm sure some of you will understand that. If you do understand that, please comment below and make me feel not so alone. So yeah, but I just thought those stick and stitches were really, really cool. And that when I do find the denim jacket I'm going to use to put patches on and embroider on, some of those would look really, really cool, like maybe along the back or like down an arm, like the snake one that's, sorry for the rustling, like the snake one that's just here, like that would look really cool, like from the shoulder, like, and you could point it either way, right? It could be head down or head up, but like down the shoulder, down the sleeve. I think that would be really cool. Okay. Oh, and I also, because I'm a total nerd, also got this pin, and I love it. I'm going to put that on one of my favorite J. Hendry project bags, and hope that it doesn't fall off. Otherwise, it will go on the notions pouch, because it seems to work out that things don't fall off my notions pouch. But I do love me some pins, right? Okay, now we're getting to it. Here, oh my gosh. Sorry, friends, that was my water bottle. No disaster, though. Here is the mystery bag. Okay? Da, 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 da. So here's what it says. It's Leo and Roxy hand-dyed mystery sock grab bag. Full disclosure, it was $90. But, like, it is packed, right? Like, I know you can't tell how much it weighs, but, like, she's stuffed. You know? She's stuffed. So let's now open her up and see what we have. This is going to be so fun. Were you that kid who loved grab bags at like accessory stores or toy stores when you were growing up? Because that was absolutely me. Feel like core memories is like getting one of those grab bags from like, well, if you're Canadian, you might have had the store San Diego, or like back in the day, like Ardene's had grab bags. I mean, they might still, but I just haven't visited an Ardene's in like literal decades. So, okay, it's going to make some noise and I apologize. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, cool. Love this. Love this so far. Okay, so it all looks like it's all Leo and Roxy. Obvious by the tag. So here's our first one. Feels like the other one, doesn't it? Who knew? I guess, you know, the colorway gods were with me. And let's see. So this is an 80/20 superwash merino and nylon sock yarn, and it doesn't have a colorway, it just says number 8. And I don't know if that's just like one of a kind colorway number 8, but that is very cool. Sort of dusty pink situation going on. Okay, what else do we have? Ooh, okay, this is nice. This is nice. Sort of a gold, and there's almost a little tinge of pink in there as well. This one is color number 3, apparently. That's nice. I like that. A very nice, gorgeous red called In the Hood. Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty good, Leo and Roxy. I love that. Again, all of these are 80/20 sock yarn so far. Ooh! And a sock set. Marled sock set. Cool. All right. This one also doesn't have a color name, but look at the greens. And I think this is black. It reads black to me. I don't know if it reads black on camera. But I do love a marled yarn. That is going to be fantastic socks. I love that. And is that it? That's it. That is amazing for $90. Like, full disclosure. Like, all of that. Oh my gosh. All of this sock yarn for $90. Like, pretty good, friends. So, I mean, if you're ever visiting the Little Red Mitten and they have the mystery grab bags, seems to be worth your money, friends. That is very cool. I am so excited. I'm not glad I waited, but I'm kind of glad I waited. That was really fun. I love that. Okay, that is it for my treasures from the Little Red Mitten in St. Thomas, Ontario. And let's move on to talking about what's next. So my what's next list has changed a little bit, but not a ton from my last video. Still at the top of my queue is the Teo Linear top by Shein, Price White. It's like basically 2 rectangles knit separately and then sewn together. And just because, again, like, I just need sleeves, right? And I keep thinking that I need to knit one of these to be able to pop on over like dresses like the one I'm wearing or tank tops, whatever, just to have a little more sleeve to either protect from the sun or, you know, keep the wind off you. I really like how these look, and I just need to make a decision on what yarn I'm going to use, because in my notes it literally still says yarn TBD. So there we go. The other 2 items that I have moved up my Ravelry queue are the Outline Tank by Jessie Maid. I have some leftover Northbound knitting cotton fingering from a tee that I knit, it's got to be 2 years ago now, that I love, and is in the wash because I've been wearing it a lot. But I have just enough left over that I could probably get away with knitting the Outline Tank, and I love the color, so having another garment in that color would be fantastic. The other one that is sort of on my radar now is the Notched Hem Tank Top by Pearl Soho, and the yarn that I'm considering using for that is Good Grief Yarn and Provisions Fresco, which is a fingering weight yarn, and it's in the color Amaranth, which is a very peachy pink. Well, it's more than peachy, but like it does have some peach in there. But a lovely pink color. Yeah, it's just after knitting the Hollyberry tee, I'm just like, I need more plant-based sleeveless garments. I really do. Because as I've talked about before, I hacked the Sappho's Love sweater into a tank top last summer in a cotton yarn, and I wore it so much. Like, again, that's another garment that's like in the wash right now because I wore it while we were away. Cue picture. one side or the other. I need more of that. I need more of those summer layering pieces that are super light. And I feel like the Notched Hem Tank by Pearl Soho might fit right into that without being the exact same pattern. I don't mind having multiples of the same pattern in different colors, but I have other yarns that I would rather do that with. Whereas this fresco yarn, I kind of want to experiment with knitting it into another pattern before sort of going back to like the Sappho's Love tank hack that I did. And if you're looking for notes about that, it's linked in my Ravelry, so if you want to have a look. If you're also interested in hacking that particular pattern into a tank, please do. I've gotten so much wear out of it because the fit in the actual body is just so good, because Elizabeth Margaret is so good at that, that as soon as you just like take the sleeves off, it's still an amazingly well-fitting garment. Okay, friends, that is it. And can you believe I don't think I've mentioned Summerlee in this video once, mostly because I don't have a sock whip on the needles at the moment, which I have to go take care of. That's the next thing on the docket to think about. Maybe I should have mentioned that in what's next. But we've reached the end of my update because that's all I have for you today. I hope that wherever you are right now, that you are feeling safe, you are feeling cozy, hopefully not too warm, but I hope you're feeling cozy. I hope that if you're somewhere very warm, that you are finding ways to stay cool. And until I see you next time, keep those stitches moving.